So they think the carried interest loophole makes a lot of sense, right? They think corporate tax cuts makes a lot of sense. You not getting higher wages, you not having health care makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make any goddamn sense, but they get themselves to believe it. And that's another portion of the invisible hand on the market.
So there's problems with every path. So the elite, like you mentioned, can be corrupted by greed, by power, and so on. But the crowd, I agree with you, by the way, about the wisdom of the crowd versus the wisdom of the elite. But the crowd can be captured by a charismatic leader. So the problem with populism, and I'm probably a populist myself, the problem with populism is it can be and has been throughout history captured by bad people.
But if you say to me, trust the elites or trust the people, I'm going to trust the people every single time.
But that's why you're such an interesting, I don't want to say contradiction, but there's a tension that creates the balance. So to me, in the way you're speaking might result in hurting capitalism. So it's easy to, in fighting corporatism, to hurt companies. So to go too far the other way.
Yeah, of course.
And so like when you talked about corporate tax, so what's the magic number for the corporate tax? Because if it's too high, like companies leave. Right?
Yeah, companies have so much power right now. This pendulum has swung so far, and we're almost out of time. The window's closing. The minute private equity buys all of our homes, the residential real estate market, we're screwed. We're indentured servants forever. Okay, there goes wealth creation for the average American. So you're right, Lex. It's not a contradiction. It's a tension that is inevitable to get to balance. The reason why people kind of can't figure me out, they're like, well, you're on the left, but you're a capitalist, etc. That's not a contradiction. That's getting to the right balance. And in order to do that, like if you say, well, if we change the system, I'm afraid of change because what if the pendulum swings too far in the other direction, right? Well, then you would be opposed to change at all times. So if you do that, it actually reminds me of the Biden fight.
You have learned a new ability, basic
So I'm like, guys, he has almost no chance of winning. He stands for the establishment. He can't talk. But then the number one pushback I'd get from Democrats was, yeah, but what if we change? It's so scary. But we don't know about Kamala Harris. What if it's not Kamala Harris? It's so scary. Don't change. And I'm like, yeah, but if you say change might be worse, it also might be better. And you're at zero. Anything is better, right? And right now, in terms of corruption in America, we're at 98% corruption. So we got 2% decency left. Brother, this is when you want change. And so, and Lex, if you actually have wisdom of the crowd, just like in supply and demand, and how it works in economics, it works the same way in a functioning democracy. You go too far, you come back in. So, for example, when Reagan came into office, me and my dad, my family, we were Republicans. Why? At that point, the highest marginal tax rate was at 70%. 70% is too high, right? Now then he brought it all the way down to 28%. That's too low, right? So and that's how the system modulates itself. Already we were headed towards corruption, and because it's the 80s now, we're past 78 magic 78 marker, right? So and even Carter was way more conservative economically than people realized because we were already getting past it by the time it's in his administration. But the bottom line is, yes, whenever you have real wisdom of the crowd, whether it's in business or in politics, you're going to have fluctuation. You're going to have that pendulum swinging back and forth. You don't want wild swings, communism, corporatism, right? You want to get to, hey, where's the right balance here between capitalism and what people think is socialism?
Yeah, so I guess I agree with most of the things you said about the corruption. I just wish there would be more celebration of the fact that capitalism and some incredible companies in the history of the 20th century has created so much wealth, so much innovation that has increased the quality of life on average. They've also increased the wealth inequality and exploitation of the workers and this kind of stuff. But you want to not forget to celebrate the awesomeness that companies have also brought outside the political sphere. just in creating
You
awesome
have learned
stuff.
how to create a
Look,
new
I
item
run a
and stitched
company.
leather pants.
And so I don't want companies to go away. And I don't want you to hate all companies. I think Young Turks is a wonderful company, right? We provide great health care, we take care of our employees, we care about the community, etc. And we're building a whole nation online on those principles and the right way to run a company, right? But guys, we're at the wrong part of the pendulum. The companies have overwhelming power and they're crushing us. We're like that scene in Star Wars where the trash compactor is closing in on them, the walls are closing in. We're almost out of time because they've captured the government almost entirely. They're only serving corporate interests. We've got to get back into balance before it's too late. And that's why I care so much about structural issues. So I form Justice Democrats, so that's AOC, etc. Right? That's people know it as the Squad. They know it as Justice Democrats, etc. I'm one of the co-founders of that. And my number one rule was no corporate PAC money. Okay, so you're not allowed to take corporate PAC money. By the way, now Matt Gaetz and Josh Hawley have stopped taking corporate PAC money, and they've become, to some degree, on economic issues, genuine populists. It's amazing. It happens overnight. All of a sudden they're talking about holding corporations accountable, etc. Now, just Democrats wound up having other problems. They got too deep into social issues, not economic issues.
There's a general sort of criticism of billionaires, right? This idea. Now, you could say that billionaires are avoiding taxes and they're not getting taxed enough. But I think under that flag of criticizing billionaires is criticizing all companies that do epic shit, that build stuff.
Oh, okay. So
that create stuff. That's what I'm worried about. I don't hear enough, like, genuine. You know, I like celebrating people. I like celebrating ideas. I just don't hear enough genuine celebration of companies when they do
no,
cool
because
things.
Okay, so are you right? Not about companies, but about capitalism. Yes, because you look at life expectancy 200 years ago, and you look at it now, and you go, "Wow, holy shit, we did amazing things!" Right? So, and what happened in the last 200 years? We went from dictatorships more towards democracy, wisdom of the crowd. We went from serfs and indentured servants and a nobility that holds the land to more towards capitalism, and boom, the crowd is right. Things go really well. The advances in medicine are amazing, and medicine is a great example. So, and on our show, I point all those things out, and I say, look, we hate the drug companies because of how they capture the government, right? But we don't hate the drug companies for creating great drugs. Those drugs save lives. They saved my life. They saved countless, millions upon millions of lives. So the right idea isn't shut down drug companies. The right idea is don't let them buy the government, right? So, and I know we get back into our instinctual shells. So on the left, they'll be, we should get rid of all billionaires.
You receive loot. Ruined leather
Why?
straps.
Like, how does that fix the system? Tell me how it fixes the system, and I'm all ears, right? My solution is end private financing. Then you can be a billionaire all you like. You can't buy the government, right? That's a more logical way to go about it. I've never worn an Eat the Rich shirt, and it drives me crazy. I'm like, you would have eaten FDR, right? And FDR is the best president, most populous president, in my opinion. And so, no, there's wonderful rich people. Of course, there's a range of humanity, right? But you don't want to get rid of the rich. You don't want to get rid of companies, but you also don't want to let them control everything. So, okay, here, I'll give you an example that's really, and that informs a lot of how I think about things, which is my dad. So my dad was a farmer in southeastern Turkey near the Syrian border. No money. In fact, his dad died when he was 6 months old, and so they were saddled with debt. And no electricity in his house, like as poor gets. And he wound up living the American dream. And so how did he do that? What made the difference? Well, what made the difference is opportunity, right? So I'm a populist because my dad was in the masses, right? And the elites say the masses are no good. We're smart, you're not. We're educated, you're not. We at meritocracy, we talk about that. We have earned merit, and if you're poor or middle class, you have not earned merit. Okay, you're useless and worthless. And I hate that. So what did Turkey do back in the 1960s that liberated my dad? They provided free college education. You had to test into it, okay? But the top 15% got a free college education at the best colleges in Turkey. So, and my uncle saved all of our lives when he came to my dad and said, "Do you like working on this farm?" And my dad's like, "Fuck no," right? It's super hot. It's super hard. It's just, they got to get up at 4 in the morning. If they're lucky, the family next door gives them a mule. If they're not, they got to carry the shit themselves, okay? So my uncle told him, work just as hard in school and you'll be able to get a house, a car, pretty girls, etc. So my dad works his ass off, gets into school, and he comes out a mechanical engineer and starts his own company. He creates a company in Turkey, hires hundreds of people. He then moves to America, creates a company here, hires tons of people, right? So do I hate companies? No, my dad set up 2 companies, and I saw how much it benefited people. I saw how much employees would come up to my dad 20, 30 years later in the street and hug him. And they tell me as a young kid, your dad's the most fair boss we ever had, and we love him for it, right? That's how you run a company. And he taught me the value of hard work. But the reason I brought it up here is because he taught me, look, like, skill and ability is a genetic lottery. So you're not going to just get the rich to win all the genetic lottery. No, there's going to be tons of poor kids and middle-class kids who are just as good, if not better. You have to provide them the opportunity, the fair chance to succeed. You have to believe in them. So this isn't about disempowering anyone. It's about empowering all of those kids who are doing the right thing or smart and want to work hard so they could build their own companies and add to the economy.
What in general is your view on meritocracy?
So I love meritocracy. I wish that we lived in a meritocracy, and I want to drive towards living in a meritocracy. So that's why I don't like equality of results. So, okay, now people that are on the left will get super mad at that and go, "What do you mean?" Well, okay, brother, let's say you're at work and you got one guy who's working his ass off, another guy, let's go, "I don't care, I'm not going to do it," right? Well, the guy who works super hard has to pick up the slack. Now he's working twice as hard, right? And now you want the same results? You want the same salary as that guy? No, brother, no. He's working twice, 4 times, 10 times harder than you. That's not fair. Fairness matters. We wound up, I mean, we're in the suburbs of Jersey, but we wound up in Freehold eventually. And we lived across a farm, which is kind of, in central Jersey it happens, right? And it was called Fair Chance Farm. I was like, how did I get this? Amazing, right? And I love that. That's the essence of America, and that's what I want to go back to. So we've got to create that opportunity, not just because it's the moral thing to do, but because it's also the economically smart thing to do. If you enable all those great people that are in lower income classes and middle income classes, you're going to get a much better economy, a much stronger democracy. So that's the direction.
So again, it's about balance, but what do you think about DEI policies, say in academia and companies, so the movement as it has evolved? Where is that balance? Is that how far is it pushing towards equality of outcome versus equality of opportunity?
Okay, so now we're getting into social issues, right? So this is where we all rip each other apart, and then the people at the top laugh their ass off at us and go, "We got them fighting over trans issues." They're killing each other. It's hilarious, and they're so busy they don't realize we're running the place, right? Okay, but let's engage. Some people will look at DEI and go, "Well, that just gives me an opportunity, just like anyone else. I love DEI." Another person will look at it and go, "No, that says that you should be picked above me, and I hate DEI," right? So the reality of DEI is a little bit more complicated, and so, but you got to go back. So first, did we need affirmative action in the 1960s? Definitely. Why? All the firefighter jobs in South Carolina, as an example, are going to white guys. All the longshoreman jobs in New York, LA, wherever you have it, are all going to white guys because that's how the system was. Yes, also in the North, right? And so we now are in a civil rights era. We decide we're going to go towards equality. minorities, in that case mainly black Americans, had to find a way to break in. I'm not trying, like, if you're a longshoreman and it's a good job, you naturally want to pass it on to your son. I get your instinct. I don't hate you for it, right? But we got to let black kids also have a shot at it, right? So you need it in the beginning. But at a certain point, you have to phase it out. So when I was growing up, it's now in the late 80s, early 90s, I hated affirmative action. And I've been principled on it from day one and to this day. I'm not in favor of affirmative action. I say it on the show all the time. Why? I'm a minority. Being a Turk, I grew up Muslim. I'm an atheist now, but generally speaking, a Muslim is certainly a minority in America, and pretty much a hated one overall. But I didn't check off Muslim or Turkish or any ethnicity when I applied to college because I believe in a meritocracy, as we were talking about. But we don't really have a meritocracy now, and so I can come back to that. But right now. So I didn't check it off because I didn't want an unfair advantage, because I want to earn it. So now I'm in law school, and I'm hanging out with right-wingers because at that point I'm a Republican. And one of the guys says to me about one of our a black student going to Columbia. He says, "Oh, I wonder how he got in here." God, that is the problem with affirmative action. It devalues the accomplishments of every minority in the country. You have to transition away from it. If you don't, it sets up a caste system, and that caste system is lethal to democracy. So does DEI go too far in some instances? Yes. But is it a boogeyman that's going to take all the white jobs and make them black, as Trump would say, black jobs, right? And give minorities too much power, etc. No, the idea isn't to rob you and to give all the opportunity to minorities. The idea is to make it equal. But as the pendulum swings, did it swing too far in some directions? Yes. The left can't acknowledge that, and the right things can't acknowledge that. Of course, at some point, you got to give a chance for others to break in so they have a fair chance.
By the way, Michelle Obama had a good line about the black jobs in the DNC speech, where somebody should tell Trump that the presidency might be just one of those black jobs. Anyway, but why do you think the left doesn't acknowledge when DI gets ridiculous, which it in certain places and in certain places at a large scale has gotten ridiculous?
Because people are taught to just be in the tribe they're in and to believe it 100%. Like, I've gotten kicked out of every tribe. I might be the most attacked man in internet history, partly because we've been around forever, and partly because I disagree with every part of the political spectrum, because I believe in independent thought. And the minute you vary a little bit, people go nuts. And so the far left tribe is gonna go with their preset ideology, just like the far right tribe is. So, for example, on trans issues, we've protected trans people for over 20 years on the Young Turks. We fought for equality for trans people and for all LGBTQ people for 2 decades. We did it way before anyone else did. When Biden came out in favor of gay marriage in 2013, we're like, this is comically late. So, like, we're all supposed to, like, congratulate.
It's weird. I'm exactly the same way. And it's weird because we come from such a hipster cell in Denver, Platt Park, that I thought everybody in the country, and I thought half the people in the country were like me. I thought all the liberals in the country were like me. But no, when I finally came to the internet about 5 years ago, or whatever. Well, yeah, it was like about 5 years ago. I had the time again in my personal life to, like, pay attention to the internet, but I didn't for about 17 years, something like that. From the age of about 20 until about 37, I didn't pay attention to the internet at all. I mean, I was online for some of it. I was a WoW raider and all that. And I would watch YouTube, and I was a very internet personality type person, but I wasn't like, I wasn't like an eternally online person, and I didn't know what people were like, sort of outside of my personal circles and, what was on the television. And I realize now that I was actually I was in a very deep leftist almost organization, sort of. Like, it was like it's like a whole slew of people based around a high school you know, and it's just sort of weird, and all of us were kind of like, in some ways, like pretty leftist, I would say, and not leftist in a way that's like bleeding heart liberal, or you know, like you know, sort of like SJW or anything. I'm talking about like full blown. We just wanted everybody to be able to be happy. That's all. And so we were like okay with gay people, we were okay with trans people, we weren't okay with hate speech, and we weren't okay with wars, and we were really angry at the corporate people and the corporatocracy and all this. But and like we believed that George Bush committed 9/11 and all this stuff, and I guess at that point you could call us kind of extreme, but that, like back then in my experience, it's weird, the leftists were, like us, were the ones that knew the truth about 9/11, and like this weird, all the truthers used to be this, like, okay, the truthers used to be deep left. If you don't believe me, I can pull the speaker. It was Democracy Now! And I would say now I would say Democracy Now! Is sort of like, I would say still leftist, but I mean, they were always, I mean, I guess they're kind of more of like a conspiracy theory person, like people now, I think, but for when I was a child, they were around, and when I was like 14 years old, we used to watch them late at night at like 1:30 in the morning, and we realized that the actual revolution was not being televised, and Democracy Now! Would come on at like 1 in the morning on like the public access channel. And we would all tune in our crappy televisions, and we would watch Democracy Now! And this wonderful lady would I forget her name, but she would talk about how, like, they you know, they were independent. I would say that we like they were independent. They lit us up to who Ralph Nader was. They lit us up to who Food Not Bombs were. They lit us up to, like, you know, UNICEF and all these other. I mean, I knew who UNICEF was. All the American kids did, but like we didn't really understand like how cool some of the organizations on the planet were in terms of trying to save the planet. And Democracy Now! Was this wonderful source for this. And now I thought that there was I thought my whole generation and everybody underneath me all thought the same as I did. But no, it turns out that I would say at least 50% of my generation just wanted to like guns and be right wing and support Trump and be in the South and that sort of thing. And that's okay. We were like, okay, well, we're cool with them as long as they're cool with us. And you know, there was never like this like there were like never like these names or anything. But then, you know, then there was the boiling moment was 9/11. Right down almost to the minute, it was like 9/11. Within 2 days, we knew that 9/11 was an inside job. And like within, I would say, a year, our faith in the government was completely shaken. And I didn't know anybody who liked the government. Not a single person. And so I always assumed that the whole world had this crazy liberal progressive explosion of populism. But it turns out it was actually our little sleeper cell in a few other places in the world. It was like Portlandia, Denver, Berkeley, California, Amsterdam. When you look at really deep liberal cells, you would look at San Francisco, Greenwich Village, and a few others, right? But you can really almost count on like 2 hands. That's it. I can count them again, right? I'll count them in the U.S. anyways. I'll count the U.S. Leftist, granola hippie, you know, like peacenik, leftist, hipster douchebaggery, like people like me, and I realize now how really rare we are. I thought the whole world was like us. But no, it turns out that only 5% of the humanity is actually like us. but we had lasting effects upon people. Like, for instance, one of us was Michael Moore, whether I like it or not. Michael Moore had a huge effect upon America, and I view Michael Moore as a yellow journalist, which would wound him to his soul. And I really love Michael Moore, and I've watched every movie he's ever done like 5 or 10 times, and I really love Michael Moore, but I would still call him a yellow journalist in some ways, because he still tries to appeal to Democrats. But I'm the one singing the Against Me song, like, baby, I'm an anarchist, you're a spineless liberal, you know? You're a spine, like, the Democrats are like spineless liberals, in my opinion. They're terrified of guns. They're like, it's weird because I'll sound exactly like a right-winger, but I hate the right wing. I consider them to be the Fourth Reich. I would fight them in war. I hate the right wing. I hate them. I fucking hate them. I think they're worthless Nazi bastards. I'll straight say it. I hate fiscal conservatives. I think they killed the world. I think they killed America. The reason that Trump says make America great all the time is because, I mean, America's always been great, and that fucking traitor should keep his goddamn mouth shut. America has always been fucking great. But the thing that got bad is our government just turned against us and sold out to the highest demon banker bidder, you know? Then I mean, like, demon banker bidder, like really crazy, like Thieves in the Temple, demon banker Bitcoin people that like took over the government and software development and all this other stuff, Koch brothers and stuff like that. And so I thought the whole world was either pretty much the okay, I realize now that I'm populist, but I mean, I'm realizing that only like this year, because I thought the whole world was this crazy thing that it's just not, right? And I thought this for the last 26 years, but I think my opinion has changed this year. I really thought that it was like, it was like 50% people like me that hate war, hate defense budgets, cannot stand fiscal conservatism when our education system is suffering, our people don't feel safe, we have school shootings and mental sickness and stuff, and mental health is not being taken care of, we have drug addiction, terrible problems that obviously have to do with poverty, so poverty needed to be addressed like 20 years ago, but instead we had a demon banker fucking coalition take over the government and have us sell to the bankers and bail them out, and then we bailed the bank out in the bank crisis in 2008 rather than being Americans and having money. And so for like 12 years until Trump gave out PUA and all this, and I will give Trump the credit that he is due, but I mean, really, I would say he basically he inherited Obama's kindness, I would say, and all the systems were set up in the place. The Democrats have been setting up the systems for 8 years to just bail out the country from the terrible fucking oppression of 9/11, COVID, the Patriot Act, all these things that we used to really sit around like fucking bonfires and talk about burning the goddamn government for. Stuff like the Patriot Act. We used to really talk about maybe dismantling the government for for George Bush and his cronies trying to push something like the Patriot Act. I don't believe in the fucking Patriot Act. And honestly, these days I'm more leftist, extreme leftist liberal than I am populist. And I'll say stuff like open borders. Let's acknowledge that aliens exist. Let's acknowledge that alien life exists. Let's acknowledge that we have basically demon bankers running our government. Let's acknowledge that the IMF and the WTO are goddamn horrible, fucking corrupt, fucked up organizations, just like the fucking trilateral organization and the Freemasons and all this. We need to understand that the corporatocracy has essentially stomped in humanity, and now we sold humanity's like hope and future out to the highest bidder. And like, I don't like talking like this, but I come from an anarchist cell in Denver. They used to put girls on poles to stop fucking Columbus Day parades and shit like that, because we felt that it was a conquistador fucking celebration of the systemic fucking suppression and murder of the Native American man. And so we used to literally plot against rich white people trying to celebrate the conquistadorialism of the domination of anybody who isn't rich and white. It might be black people, it might be Native Americans, it might be women, it might be Syrians, it might be fucking It might be Afghanistanis or anybody. It really could be anybody. It could be Pakistanis. It could be anybody. We systematically, basically, objectify and screw over anybody who doesn't look like us, which is, and by us I mean rich white American. And it sucks, and I'm not a rich white American. I'm just saying, that's how I'm supposed to think of it, is like, middle class to upper class Americans are good people, and that's who we are, and so that's who we look up to be. But honestly, no. After listening to Sublime and understanding that the stone the builder refused shall be the head cornerstone, I was cast out of this society. It was impossible for me to get jobs for 20 years. It was impossible for me to not have a record. It was impossible for me to not have a drug addiction. It was impossible, basically. I ran with these crews that had all done these things for many, many years. It was impossible for me to not be like them. It was impossible for me to not be influenced by Marshall Mathers and Slim Shady. It was impossible for me not to be influenced by Marilyn Manson and Korn, and not that these people were evil. I'm just saying that their whole attitude was essentially fuck the world. Because and it was like that until, I would say, 2008, when the bank crisis happened, and then suddenly it wasn't like the peacenik leftist hippies who grew up in the who had their whole country on a new wave and all this, right? Like Brooklyn babies, basically. That were raised on Jack Kerouac and Starving Hysterical Naked, William S. Burroughs and I saw that, the greatest minds of my generation is destroyed by madness. That's my favorite beat poet, and I can't think of his fucking name right now because I'm nervous and I'm cold. But
you are no longer AFK.
Or Walt Whitman or something like that. We used to really look up to people like Walt Whitman in this country. Now it's money. Now money is their god. And so, I would call myself a populist, but I don't know what I want. I don't want to take the right wing's guns away. I think I do want to give them abortion, but I don't want to take their guns away. It's kind of weird. I want to favor them and give them what they want. And in return, I want concessions from them, I need them to let go of the chokehold on rent, let go of the chokehold on the lobby, let go of the chokehold on jobs, let go of the chokehold on housing and education and food. All this stuff has been chokeholded by price fixing, by fucking capitalist fucking stooges who have taken over both sides of the government. And these are things that sound kind of communist, but I mean, I don't wish to sound communist, like you're about to hear him, like you've been hearing him say for an hour. Our government has been sold out to the highest bidder. They don't represent our best interest anymore, or we would have solved many of these things long ago. And now, am I saying, should we have a crisis? No, I'm not a crisis actor. I don't believe we need a revolution. I don't believe we need violence. I don't know what it is we need, but I think that honestly, somewhere in here is a solution. And I think it's just taking care of the weakest people in the society. We as Americans, we like the underdog. We always choose the underdog, And I think you can see it in the way that we backed Ukraine. You can see it in the way that we backed Israel. You could, or even the way that we backed Palestine. We backed the underdog sometimes. And I don't know what to do, but I know that if we populously take care of the weakest members of our society, they will grow up and help us fix the problems. I have in the same way that we know that every $1 million that we give in welfare stimulates the economy for 10 million. And we know this. We've known this for a long time. Every bit of help that we do to make sure that the lower class doesn't die, stimulate them so they can get health care, make sure that they're not starving in the fucking streets or tranking out like dopers and shit. And like me, I did that for 7 to 13 years. I did that exact thing, so pretty much. And I would say that, without the help, without the food stamps, without the mental health center of Denver letting me stay at a mental health facility for 2 years, without case plans and case managers and friends and support. Every Wednesday I went to relapse prevention for 7 years. Like, it was like that. It just went on. Every Wednesday I did a drug test for 7 years. It was just weird. And I without all that support, without all that money for drug tests, all that money for probation, all that money without all that support, I would not have made it. I would have been dead. There were many times there where I would have been dead, and people saved me. And so I took the support and I ran with it. And now I have, I'm sitting in my own house with a 120-inch television and a $3,000 computer. And while I'm not rich, those things bring me the joy. I think I get the same amount of joy out of those things that I think the rich people get out of their adrenochrome and their hookers and their fucking expensive houses and their jet setting and their fucking jet planes and all that stuff. I feel like I get the exact same amount of joy out of my computer. I think it unlocks my mind in the same way that Elon can go to the stars. I believe that my computer can unleash my mind and let me do whatever the fuck I want to do whenever I want to do it. And so I want to bring this to the whole. I want a really nice computer for every fucking American. I want affordable rent for every American. I want affordable housing. I want affordable, affordable subsidization of like new businesses and stuff. So like if you have a business and you think that you can sling Pokemon cards better than anybody else in the fucking world, I want to back you to do that. It sounds ridiculous, and I want the government to back you to do that. Now, do I want them to give you a lot of money? No, but I think 20 grand could go towards a long way towards buying a camera, buying a bunch of booster decks, setting up some videos and a YouTube channel, paying the rent for a couple of months while you shoot Pokemon cards and play Pokemon, and suddenly you're a Pokemon card streamer. Like the same way that I'm an MMORPG streamer. I can believe in that same, in the way that I want the government to help me build this business so I can build a personal history, but they won't. They've never really helped me until I was disabled. Until I was disabled in their eyes, they wouldn't help me. And I mean they did. They helped me with unemployment and they've always been there for me, but in the ways that I needed their help, like rent control, cheap food, cheap transportation, if not free. I honestly believe in a bus pass for every single member of the lower and the middle class for free. I think the bus should technically be free and paid for by the public. And the public pays good money for that shit. Good money for I love the light rail in Denver, but I don't know why it's $5.20. I don't know. To me, that's like some rich man got a hold of it and took the public's money and then sold the business to a private enterprise who charges us $5 for the fucking public transportation that our taxes pay for. That's how deep the corruption has gone. What happened to there's this wonderful line on Dr. Dre's album The Chronic, the 2001, that changed my life. It was like, whatever happened to falling in love with a motherfucker who has a bus pass? Remember when love used to be this expected thing that should happen in everybody's life, and it was just sort of expected, and it would happen. It happened to everybody, but now it's like not so expected. I think because they stole everything and charged so much money that the lower and the middle class can't even date correctly anymore because we're so poor. We don't know how to succeed. It's like crazy. I don't know what to do to fix all this, but I think populism is it. And honestly, you'd be surprised how much I'm willing to wheel and deal with the devil being the right wing. I'm willing to deal with the devil. The devil is the right wing. I will never change my opinion on that. I believe the right wing to be the devil. Their fiscal conservatism has been the death of America, and I swear to God, we're in hell right now. We're burning because they are the devil, and they pulled the money back from everybody. So now our education system has faltered, our rent system has faltered, our legal system has faltered, the drug war has faltered, our wars overseas have faltered, our guns in Vietnam fucking faltered, all of it has fucking faltered. right? And I consider them the devil for trying to push that sort of stuff, like the Vietnam War or 9/11 or any of that stuff. But I don't want to point fingers here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I wish to give them concessions. I want to give them concessions. I think they want things. I want to give them things. I think they won't live with us unless we do give them concessions, like abortion and guns. So give them the goddamn concessions, but I want things in return. Like, you can't even have another war in the next 100 years. You can't have a war. How about that? Okay, in exchange, you want you still want the pistols out while kids shoot up the schools? Okay, then trade me. No foreign wars for 100 years. You can have your guns on the street then, if you guarantee me no foreign wars for 100 years. You know what I'm saying? No action, nothing. No foreign wars for 100 years, right? Okay, you don't like abortion. Okay, we'll make Roe v. Wade illegal, but in exchange, I want the end of the drug war and all of our people packed into the prisons for nonviolent drug offenses. You understand how I want to give them things that they don't want to give me, and I want things from them that they don't want to give me, and I want to give them things that they don't want me to have, and all this. And it's just kind of crazy, but I want to trade with them. I think that's what made this country great in the first fucking place, is we used to trade with each other. I consider myself more Democrat than the fucking Democrat Party, because I don't think anybody in the Democratic Party would ever work with any Republican ever again. I will work with them if it means that it is the end of the things that are actually killing us, like the drug war and the foreign wars. The drug war and the foreign wars have killed us. I will trade you abortion and good gun laws in exchange for it, right? You have this huge problem with the border. I say that you're a fucking idiot and you're the devil and you're racist. If you were looking at it correctly, I would say that you need to look at it correctly, right? And here's how you look at it correctly, motherfucking idiot devil, right? Idiot right-wing devil. Here's how you look at this correctly, right? You should believe in the notion of power of these people who come in our country. Not power over or power out of. Power of those people. You've been thinking about it fucking wrong. We are still the greatest country on earth because we never used to kick those people out of the conversation. Now we do, because you, the racist devil that you are, kicked them out of the conversation and talk shit about Mexico all the time, say they're rapists and murderers and all this time and shit. But remember, we're the goddamn melting pot. They're the people who made this goddamn country, like your fucking ancestors, and they're no more special or no less special than us. And like you and your fucking weird devil racism and all this shit. So once you, trust me, that's the big change that you need to make. If you understand the power of Mexico as opposed to the power of kicking them the fuck out of here, you would understand people better, but you're not. You're a weird, racist, forthright piece of shit, fucking devil, fucking right-wing cocksucker, you know? And by you, I mean like the entire 50% rest of the other half of the country. Once you understand your problem is actually racism, and you were to just drop it and understand the power of African Americans, the power of Mexicans and Latinos, the power of, Chinese, Japanese, the power of Irish, the power of every fucking beautiful race, and the united colors of the so many colors in the homo rainbow. Don't be afraid to let your colors shine, or whatever, right? And gay people too. And I'm sorry, but you have been the goddamn devil, and you have embraced the notion of power over people as opposed to the notion of power of. What power over people do you have, weird right-wing cocksucker piece of shit, fascist loser? What power do you have over anything at all? Maybe your penis. What power do you have over? Maybe you control the prices of drugs, maybe, and a little bit of the government vote. But I wouldn't say you really control anybody or anything, any foreign country, any foreign interests, or anything at all, really. I wouldn't say you control anything but your motherfucking wiener. You know what I'm saying? And I would say the left is the exact same. I don't think we control anything either. And so once you understand that that your broken, fucked up, racist brain is stuck on some fucking loop for the last 20,000 years or something, where you feel like you need to have power over these people as opposed to the power of them, you are actually that weird Fourth Reich ex-Hitler piece of shit that we all thought you were. Until you understand that you must abandon this notion of having power over others. What power do you have over others? Just like I'll hit you with the Star Wars so you can understand the fucking quote correctly. The more systems you fucking try to squeeze through your grip, the more just slide through your fucking fingers. What control do you have over people? You get more flies with honey in every other cliche in goddamn history. And I can list out 50,000 cliches right now about all the dumbass ways that the right wing has essentially killed this country. And so, and honestly, it's weird because I'm still the people that would lovingly live right next to you. I'm the guy who wants to live right next to you lovingly. If you were to abandon that notion that you have any power over any of us. You can't tell us what to do beyond rape and murder. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't tell these people not to scam people. You can't tell them not to smoke drugs or shoot up or sell sex or anything like that. You don't have any power over these fucking people. You must get them there on their own. That horse must come to the water on its own to drink. You can't tell people to go to jail because they did drugs. You can't tell people to go to war overseas when they've never even met those people before. What the fuck is wrong with you? You need to abandon that fucking weird Fourth Reich bullshit that you're on about power over other people and understand the power of is your only fucking hope. Your only hope. You understand? Your only hope.
Text to speech set to disable.
Your only hope is those Mexicans that you call rapists and murderers, you piece of shit MAGA backstabbing fucking traitors. Yeah, and I love you too. I'll work with you all day. I'm the other side that actually respects you enough to still work with you. The Democrats just full-blown are done with you. They are done with you. I consider the Democrat Party, like the Republican Party, to be dead. I would say it's dead because they'll go to war before they'll lead us. They'll go to war before they'll lead us. To me, they're like dead entities. And you guys love them so much. I can't understand it. I can't stand your faith in those parties that killed you. It's really fucking weird. You're caught between an elephant and a jackass. You know, like eating the peanuts that the parties have tossed you. You know, I'm gonna read the lyrics because it's very apropos, and we're gonna go back to the Cenk Uygur fucking, to the Cenk Uygur podcast. But I want to read some lyrics, right? Baby, I'm an anarchist because after this world that you built, I pretty much like the disorder is the only thing that I understand because your order has been Fourth Reich and full of shit, right? So through the best of times, through the worst of times, through Nixon and through Bush, do you remember in 36 we went our separate ways? You fought for Stalin, but I fought for freedom. You believe in authority. I believe in myself. I'm a Molotov cocktail. You're Dom Perignon. Baby, what's that confused look in your eyes? What I'm trying to say is that I burn down buildings while you sit on a shelf inside of them. You call the cops on the looters and pie throwers. They call it class war. I call them co-conspirators and their weird government fucking fascist fucking deep state Koch brothers fucking American Taliban bid to take over our government and try to kill us all. Because, baby, I'm an anarchist and you're a spineless liberal. We marched together for the 8-hour day and held hands in the streets of Seattle or Denver. And but when it came time to throw bricks through that Starbucks window, you left me all alone. You know how many fucking windows I've broken in my goddamn life during riots? And shit like that. You watched in awe at the red, white, and blue on the 4th of July while those fireworks were exploding. I was burning that fucker and stringing my black flag high, eating the peanuts that the parties have tossed you in the backseat of your father's new Ford. You believe in the ballot. You believe in reform. You have faith in the elephant and jackass. And to you, solidarity is a 4-letter word, right? And that's my problem with you. Solidarity to you is like a 4-letter word. You can't stand people that try to straddle the fence between the right and the left. You can't actually stand it. Solidarity to you is a 4-letter word. You won't admit it, but it is. We're all hypocrites, but you're a patriot for some reason, right? We're all hypocrites, all of us, but for some reason you're a patriot. You thought I was only joking when I was screaming "kill Whitey" at the top of my lungs? No. And the cops in their cars and the men in their suits. Fuck the men in the suit, dummy piece of shit, fucking rich Whitey, goddamn fucking thing, man. I'm sorry. You thought I was joking when I was screaming "kill Whitey" at the top of my lungs. No, I won't take your hand and marry the state. This is where I come from, right? It's so in my weird, deluded, leftist, anarchist, like liberal brain, I had deluded myself into thinking that all of the internet culture that was a lie, that was on the left or whatever, even or really even in sort of the anti-authority scene, or like almost like the conspiracy theorist scene or anything like that, or the truther scene. I always thought that we were all the same people, but no, it turns out that that all of those people were still Democrats and Republicans that still believe in the establishment and the demon bankers and the Wall Street cabinet and the Obamas that sold them up the goddamn creek. They still believe in that stupid shit. And I'm sorry, but I just don't have any fucking time for that. You're caught between an elephant and a jackass as you get trampled and they starve us to death with their fiscal conservatism mixed with meritocracy and fucking corporatocracy. And we're just starving to death in the richest country in the world because 2 + 2 = 5 with these people, right? We're all hypocrites, but you're a patriot, You thought I was only joking, anyways, because maybe I'm an anarchist and you're a spineless liberal. We marched together for the 8-hour day and held hands in the streets of Seattle, right? We have to okay, these people are so bad that we have to march to get an 8-hour workday, or they would just work us till we essentially died. And I feel like a lot of these people are kind of like that. They're corporatocracy people. They wish to work us to death. They're kind of crazy. So I don't know what to do about all of this, but I know that there's no solution yet.
Congratulate him in the year 2013.
I wish this guy was the solution. He's just one of the steps in the right direction. He's just one of the fucking stepping stones to a progressive culture that believes in bettering itself before, I would say, suppressing others, getting power over others. I would say kicking others out. I love the Latino people in this country, and I do not wish to kick them out. I don't know where the fuck you think I don't know where you got that fucking idea from. But not all of us fucking feel the same. I don't want to be kicked out any more than they want to get kicked out. I don't know what the fuck kicking out thing started. I don't know why you started talking about a fucking wall, you weird Fourth Reich piece of shit racist. But I mean, okay, you started talking about the Mexicans like they were rapists and murderers. So how do we fix that? Well, the populace says we love our Latinos and we want an open border and we love everything that we do with them and we believe in the power of them as opposed to the power of either over them or kicking them out of or calling them an alien of or anything like that, right? I just don't believe in having that kind of power over another human being. This is America. It is the melting pot. It is the dream. It is the American dream. There is no shape or color to the dream. It is a big amorphous fog of wonderful color. There's no predominant color. It is just a beautiful rainbow fog. Like let's go to Google and type in rainbow fog and you're gonna understand what humanity actually is. It's not this fucking weird like race war thing. It's a beautiful rainbow fog. Yeah, like rainbow fog, like whatever this thing is, rainbow fog or whatever. Wait, I'm probably gonna get a DMCA or something. I'm just gonna get off this immediately. But yes, rainbow fog, right? Let's go look at a rainbow fog. It's gonna be a big amorphous. Yeah, there you go. There's America. You thought America was only this part? Rainbow fog. That's America. You thought America was only this part. You're fucking stupid. Without all of this, there is no this part. This part is the amalgamation of all these other colors, right? There's white, and then there's black, right? And then there's rainbow fog, which is what we are, right? White people, we're rainbow fog, essentially. White people are rainbow fog to try and deny the browns or yellows or purples or greens or whatever colors in this beautiful rainbow fog, right? It's just ridiculous. And you said that America's only this part of the rainbow, or God's only this color of the rainbow, or that people are only this color of the rainbow, or should be only this color of the rainbow. And no, it actually turns out that all of this rainbow fog combined together, and this is basic science and math here, and colors and laws of physics and stuff like this, and the way that light fractals bend, and all this wonderful science that goes back to the Quran and stuff like that, right? This rainbow fog is the color white. And to try and deny a particular color as a white person or a white thing is sort of silly, because white is the amalgamation of all colors, like America. And yeah, I know you've been on for 100 years on your Fourth Reich, right-wing bullshit racism. We know everybody makes mistakes and all that stuff, but you can come back to there's many colors in the human rainbow. You're just one of them. You're the combination of all of them, you know? So you are the most miscegenated. You are the least pure. And so this idea that you have some other claim on this land than anyone else on this fucking planet is just goddamn ridiculous, racist, and Fourth Reich. And that's all I have to say about rainbow fog. That's what America is. It's rainbow fog. You thought it was like this, but no, it's the whole rainbow. It's there's many colors in the rainbow. You keep saying that you want to cut one of the colors out or something. You're fucking stupid. Try and cut a color out of the rainbow. It won't work. It just won't work. It's like that Jurassic Park thing. Life will find a way, motherfucker. Life will find a way.
Gay people should have.
You banned that border for however long you've done it. How long has it been? 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, 330 years, something like that. Has it stopped anybody at all? And thank God it didn't. Or we would not have the beautiful America that we have today. I mean, where would we be without Creole? Where would we be without Eskimo? Where would we be without goddamn Hawaii? Where would we be without Puerto Rico or Cuba or Japan or China or Mexico or even Canada? Where would we be without these things? I would tell you, up shit creek without a goddamn paddle. This whole kick everybody out who isn't us, or this whole blah blah blah. I get it. We just need regulation. That's all. We just need regulation. Good regulation, I guess. And we need civil servants that really fucking care to serve the civil. How about that? How about that for a turn of words, motherfucker? We need civil servants that really care to serve the civil.
To get there, right? So
how's that for a turn of word? You tell me I couldn't be a goddamn politician. Well, you fucked me with the drug war, so I can't. Fuck you, worthless piece of shit traitors. How dare you fuck me with a drug record before I was even 18? You weird fucking fascist traitors. Yeah, and I'll throw a bomb right up in your fucking mix like a good anarchist. Fuck you for fucking me over before I was even 18. I consider my life about the same as those kids who were raped by the fucking priesthood. You know, because before the age of 18, you stuck me with a felony. It was pretty much the same thing as what the priesthood did to the kids. I consider what the system and the war on drugs did to me before the age of 18, I consider to be about on the same level of psychic anguish and sorrow and pain. It's not the same physical pain, and it's not the same damage, and it's not the same thing. I'm not trying to say it's the same thing, but it's on the same sort of level of suffering.
On the other hand,
to catch a felony before the age of 18... Come on, man.
And I'm like, guys.
I mean, I didn't get convicted of this, but that's what you tried to stick me for, and it fucked me. It fucked me so bad. It was so hard to get a goddamn job. It fucked me so bad. For what? Possession of ecstasy? You can possess this, bitch. You can possess this, you and your drug war. You can suck a dick, you fucking weird fucking Fourth Reich traitor pieces of shit. Drug war, fucking pig dog assholes.
If you allow
You don't get this kind of hate without being fucked way worse than you ever should have been. You understand? So yeah, fuck the pig dog assholes who fucked us over in the last 27 years. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Going to professional.
You and your fucking DEA. Hank Schrader got shot, I was cheering. I hate to say it. Yeah, I'm the bad man who fucking cheers when Hank Schrader got fucking wasted. I was like, yeah, but that's what I wanted, though. He deserved it. That's what they deserve.
Or professional sports. But let's say...
I mean, no, they don't. They don't deserve that, but they're civil servants. You know what I'm saying? They don't deserve that sort of thing. But the DEA, the level of the goddamn backstabbing that the DEA put this country through, yeah, maybe some bullets. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you kind of fucked us with that drug war. I know you kind of forgot about it because you're just privileged or whatever, but you kind of fucked us with the drug war, and that hatred, it's been boiling for 20 years. It's sooner or later we're going to point it at you, and it's really going to hurt. I'm just warning you beforehand. Do you think this drug war thing just kind of boiled over or whatever? No, 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 no. No, no, no. This country's fucking furious at this government for that drug war. As something really nasty is still going to happen. I don't know what it is, but it will. Something really nasty is still going to happen. We really are not happy with you about that. I'll warn you. I'll pre-warn you.
What?
Everybody that I know knows somebody, everybody that they know who have done fucking serious time. Everybody that I know knows somebody who's done serious time because of drugs. You I can't even believe you with friends like you. Who needs Nazi Germany or enemies or anything like that? Jesus Christ, man. I'd probably take the beaches of Normandy over the American prison system. Yeah, unfortunately.
And a trans woman, I mean, it happens in boxing. It happens in MMA. Punches a biological woman so hard that she kills her, right? So you're going to set back trans rights 50 years.
Yep.
I'm not trying to hurt you.
No, we're trying to wheel and deal and make sure everybody is represented.
To help you.
Yep. We're trying to help everybody.
Reason. So when I say simple things like that, and I say you give LeBron James every hormone blocker on planet Earth, he's still going to dominate the WNBA. Okay? It would be comical. He might score 100 points a night. Okay? And they'll say, that's outrageous. And some have called me Nazi for saying that trans women, or that professional leagues should make their own decisions on whether they allow trans women.
Yeah, have you ever seen like a normal looking 5'11" person next to a 6'7" basketballer? I know because I'm 6'4". You ever seen the difference? It's actually kind of profound. It's pretty big. It's it's a big difference.
Not. So why do they say that? Because they're so.
Or imagine like Shaquille O'Neal next to, I don't know, one of those WNBA ladies. Does that really match up? No. Am I sexist for saying it? Probably, yeah. But I mean, it's true. And they'll call him a Nazi for saying it. I'm not against trans rights or whatever. I love trans rights, whatever. I wouldn't call myself a Nazi. Yeah. I am standing on a spider and that will get me killed. Killed, my pretty killed. I must go to bed now. It is too late. I don't want to go to bed. But it has been 13 hours and 20 minutes and I believe I will. Or I will lose this character as well. And I do not wish to lose this character as well. As I like this character. She's level 6. I already lost the level 7. So let's go back again. How many characters will I lose before I decide not to fucking fuck around and jack off and go AFK and die? Probably a lot. Alright. So guys, you've been watching skycat.live. Thank you so much. Baby, I'm an anarchist. You're a spineless liberal. And I love you. And I am a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Come click on the cast face to donate or come to the Twitch or the YouTube. Give me a like, sub, or a follow. I have many videos on YouTube, including this one that I just recorded. And I am going to post them right now. And so, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for any likes, subs, or follows you may have given me. Thank you for all of your attention. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me so much. And so, this video session is ending, but